How are we all doing? And welcome back to Turf Moor House TV. Hopefully the audio's okay and the camera quality is better than yesterday because that went a bit funny for some reason. Not entirely sure why. But yeah, thank you very much for tuning in. It's the last day of the season coming up on Sunday. And I mean, I'm sure Kendall's very, very happy with the way things have gone. However, it's been squeaky bum time since end of August for us. But yeah, first and foremost, if you are new around here, please do I can't get my words out. Subscribe to the channel and obviously check out our social media platforms, as you can see just to the bottom of us. I have got a cracking guest, absolutely cracking guest. Kendall, thank you again for giving up your time. It's going to be, I'd like to say it's a nothing game for you guys, but you can get your best points total in a Premier League season since the relegation in 2017, wasn't it? Something.
It's actually, if we win, it's going to be our best points total since I think about 2012-13, specifically because of our form at home. So yeah, a bit of a mad one, actually, a little bit of a mad one. But yeah, thank you for having me again. I really, really appreciate it.
No, not a problem at all. First and foremost, let people know where they can find you and find your stuff.
Yeah, just Kendall Rowan on every single thing. If you just search Kendall Rowan on something, you'll find me. I'm doing a couple of things coming up. The overlap, which obviously with Gary Neville as well. That is happening again soon. So go and check that out because I'm pretty sure that obviously everyone will be interested in that because it covers loads more things other than just Newcastle. So yeah, but if you want to just check out my stuff, I do like various different bits of content. Yeah, it'll just be Kendall Rowan on everything.
Oh, brilliant stuff. So yeah, please do go check out Kendall's stuff. I think I've put some links in the description. So please do go check Kendall out. A couple of comments before we go live properly. The missus says, remember to give a sub and help get Mr. Morehouse to 500. Yeah, I've already been thinking of crazy challenges to do at 500, but I will not let anything out the bag just yet. Proud Terriers says, good evening. Hope you are well, Ryan. You've got a chance of promotion as well. You could be taking our spot if we don't do the business on Sunday. You could be taking up our position there. JP says, looking good, Ed. Cheers, I'll take that. Mark says, hello, legends. Big up, Dan, hero. Smash a like, subscribe, share, and also big up Kendall and drop her a sub. Exactly. Please go and do that. Proud Terriers asked if we're both well. I'm all right. Get Sunday out the way and ask me again.
I'm tip-top, mate. Absolutely tip-top.
I bet you are. I bet you're buzzing. And JP says there as well, yeah, best points total in 9 years if it gets to 49 points. Not bad at all. Right, let's get into it. And obviously, it is the final day of the season. It's one of those where everyone sort of doesn't know what to do with themselves. They're twiddling their thumbs until July, August comes around. We're getting mad because the kits haven't been released on time, or, we're itching to see the fixtures and things like that. So silly season's around the corner as well with the transfer market, which apparently it looks like you guys are going to have a good one. However, how's your season been so far, Kendall, in your eyes?
Oh, I think the last time I spoke to you, obviously, I think when I spoke to you last time, we might have had the takeover by then. Because I think it would have probably been around December when we played you guys at home. Probably would have been about then. So from that point onwards, I still wasn't very happy at that point. It was just a little bit of a waiting game. I thought we were relegated at that point. I genuinely just couldn't see. We hadn't won in 14 games, and I just couldn't see a way out of it. At that point, I just did not think anything would get better. Obviously, then we played you guys. Now, I know this is going to be not great for yous, but that 1-0 win for us was literally what set everything off for the rest of the season from that point onwards. That win, I've never, ever felt so emotional at a football game. And it sounds bizarre, beat Burnley 1-0, at home. But, literally, I cannot express just the utter relief it was just to get our first win. It was just a weight off our shoulders. There was grown men crying around me that game. Honestly, it was just the stress had almost, even if it was 1 win, we were still in the relegation zone. It was just that little bit of just release for a little bit of short time. So yeah, from that point onwards, obviously we were unbeaten until mid-March. In 2022, we are unbeaten at home. We were unbeaten at home. Sorry, in 2022 until Liverpool, which was only 3 games ago now. So we have had the second half of the season has been incredible. Like I cannot remember the last time I enjoyed a season as much. Even though we haven't done anything of note, like we have not in your cup or anything like that. This season for me has just brought back everything about Newcastle United that I loved and that made me love them in the first place. So yeah, it's just been really, really good. And obviously the transfer window went pretty well for us. And again, it seemed to be like a Burnley Newcastle thing lately. We did take Chris Wood as well. But I'm pretty sure we'll probably have a bit of a chat about Chris Wood as well.
Yeah, put it one way, we've binned the receipt. We've binned it. We don't want him back.
Sad. Sad
times. To be fair, I had my doubts about Newcastle when they brought in the likes of Eddie Howe. I thought these are the people that have come in. They've got so much money behind them that they could have probably dragged someone like Mourinho if they wanted, or they could have done this. But I love the way you've actually gone about it, because you've actually done it. You've not just gone out and gone, you know what, we'll get the best. We'll just straight up try and buy what we can and hope it works. You're slowly building. And as much as you've got that money there, you've already seen with 3 or 4 signings this season how much it's helped. I thought Dan Burn was a weird one until I realised that, hold on a minute, he's actually, a Newcastle supporter, a Geordie lad. And I'm just like, wow, that's a massive help in itself, because he's going to die to wear that shirt.
Yeah.
Every week. So yeah, it's as Kate said there, the 30-day warranty has run out with Chris Wood.
Yeah, a bit behind there, I think. A bit late on that one, sadly.
Just a bit. JP says we'll chip in for a taxi. Josh says, good evening all. I hope you're feeling okay, Dan. Sure, it's going to be a long wait till Sunday for you. Well, it's all right. I'm going to break it up. I'm going to Alton Towers tomorrow. So that should be good. I'm technically going to be on a roller coaster doing a bit of a Burnley, going up and down, up and down, up and down. So it's just another average day. But yeah, for Newcastle, I just thought as much as you're building, Eddie Howe for me, I thought strange appointment. Defensively, his record's not been that great. I mean, we've seen that first. Andy was a manager that was always, if you score 4, we'll score 5 sort of thing. But it's actually been pretty solid at the back, because that was a worry for Newcastle, wasn't it? Because you could get forward, you could put the ball in the net, but it was just a case of you were so open at the back.
Yeah, defensively was a shambolic. Even under Rafa, we were defensively sound, but the attacking part wasn't there. So it was just coming into obviously the Steve Bruce reign. Defensively, we were awful. I was pretty, to be fair, until this point, I was pretty happy to get rid of at least, I'm probably every one of our centre backs before the transfer window, because now we've had a point where Dan Burn has raised Fabian Schär's quality. I guess the quality is always there, but he's just raised his game, he's raised his performance, and bringing Kieran Trippier. And I know he hasn't played, obviously, all of the games. He only played 4 or 5 games before he got injured, and he's been injured until the Man City game, which was last week. He is just, his leadership and having someone of his quality as a fullback is just incredible. Matt Targett, honestly, that loan could not have gone any better for us. We just have a thing with loan people. Joe Willock had a great loan, and then obviously went and bought him. And then Matt Targett just had an unbelievable loan. And honestly, if I was Aston Villa, I'd be a little bit annoyed, because they obviously went and spent 35 million on Luca Digne, who, in my opinion, hasn't done as well as Matt Targett has at Newcastle. But sometimes players just need that little bit of, different environment, change of scenery, back to this. But yeah, honestly, I cannot, I don't have any negative to any of our defensive signings that we've made. I think they've just been really, really, really good.
It killed us a little bit inside when we were sharing the links that Trippier said, I'll come back to the Premier League, but if I do, it's to come back and play for a Sean Dyche team. And if that means being back at Burnley, I'll do it for Burnley. And then you're like, oh my God, Kieran Trippier's going to Newcastle and the bastard's going to relegate us. I mean, technically, he still could. He still technically could. So I'm not going to say too much on that front. There could be a few. Even Jeff Hendricks back at even he could. However, it's I've seen there's a few people in the chat talking about last night's game, and yeah, it was poor. It's just clear to see VAR. You can't get a signal in Birmingham for VAR, can you? Because that's the only reason why they're still in the Premier League in the first place. But yeah, I won't go there. I did all my whinging about it yesterday. So we'll move on. Sunday's got to be it. We've got to park it. We've got to be like the footballers. We've got to park it. Focus on Sunday. That's when the big one is. But yeah, people are saying they're yet to hear a good explanation as to how Buendia makes it to the second half without being sent off.
I've seen some very odd, non-red card decisions lately, where it should have been a red card and it wasn't. It's just very strange, very strange.
Well, we've come out and said that we're going to appeal Matt Lawton's red card, because for me it wasn't a red. He's not come off 2 feet. He's not done anything malicious. He had the ball to begin with. He's took a heavy touch. It's come away from him, but he's got the ball, and then it's hit somebody else. Then he's hit Callum Payne.
If you appeal it and then they add don't they add another game on or something? If you appeal it and they deny the appeal, do they still do that?
Yeah, I think it goes back, go from 3 to 4.
So what will happen? Just say you just got relegated. What would happen? Does it go on to next season? No, it can't be.
I don't know. I don't know whether it only makes sense if it's in the same division. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Surely you think
what would happen? What would happen if Matt Lawton left? Does he carry this banner around? That's...
He's like, sorry, I'm retiring. And even when I do come back, what are you going to do? Give me a 4-game ban? John's in. Oh, the chat's going mad today. Can't keep up with it. Ajala says, Lee, Newcastle in a different league, money-wise now, 100%. John's in and says, good evening, Dan and guest. So hope you're well, John. Connor says there, Trippier on goal to keep up the clarets. They ain't got nothing. Well, they have in a sense, Connor. They have in a sense. But I'm sure they'd rather have seen Everton drop.
Honestly.
Question for Kendall, will Trippier start? Because he's still coming back from injury, really. As much as we're seeing him put the hard grafting on Instagram and stuff like that, he's still not fully fit, is he?
I wouldn't say he's fully fit because he hasn't really played. He had I think 20 or so minutes against Man City, and then we were already getting pumped 5-0 at that point. So what was even the point? He didn't come on against Arsenal at all. He was warming up.
Really, did he?
No, he didn't come on. But I don't know what he'll do, to be honest, because it's almost like Kieran Trippier is that type of person. He'd want to play against you, just to go and see everyone and be back at Burnley, I guess. Obviously, did Eddie Howe have Trippier at Burnley?
Yeah.
So Eddie Howe probably do a sentimental thing. Whether or not he will, I don't know. But Emil Kraft's been pretty good. But maybe he needs a rest. I don't know. And he might start Trippier. Who knows? But if I was going to guess, I would say no.
Fair play. JP says it's any FA competition, so league or FA Cup.
Right.
Connor says a red card given does carry over if a player moves clubs. Seen it happen before.
I've just never really thought about it, honestly. I've never thought about it like that.
No, there's been that many red cards at the back end of this season with Everton, Leeds, and then obviously one for Burnley.
Yeah.
But Kate says, what if Everton get points deducted? Yeah, in fact, before we touch on the game, what do you think of this? Obviously, news was broke in the last hour to 2 hours that Burnley and Leeds are looking into everything at Everton with the amount of money over the last 3 years. And we know there's been COVID in between. But even they've said only 170 of the 300 and something was through COVID, which still means that they'll have gone over the 105 that's meant to be used for the year for FFP. I mean, for me, it's a strange one because I think why are we looking at it now? Why didn't we look at it as soon as the accounts came out? Why are we sort of digging now that we're in the mire sort of thing for me?
Yeah, no, I get that. Because it almost looks like a last-ditch attempt to kind of stay up. But I do get why he's doing it, and I back it all the way. I think they have trebled the loss that is allowed in the league across a period of time. that for me, how are you getting away with that? I don't understand. Like, how are the league looking at that and saying, oh, that's okay? Like, because for some reason, something's happened somewhere along the way, and the league have just allowed it to go. Now, I don't understand that at all. Obviously, everybody knows that I want Everton to go down. Everybody knows this. I am vocal about it. I have beef with their fans, not me personally, but Newcastle fans. They have some sort of weird loving with Sunderland for some odd reason. Probably because I like the second team in their city. Well, not the city because Newcastle and Sunderland, but you know what I mean. Always going to be in the shadow of their rivals, things like that. That's probably why. So I don't know how they're going to get away with this. And I know obviously Kate's asking about seasons. Derby's, was that the same season or did that? No, it must have carried on next season.
That went over like 1 or 2 seasons, I think.
So I think, unfortunately, it'll happen is they'll start off on a points deduction next season.
See, I'm glad you brought up Derby, to be honest, because I've said the same, that Mashiri is a Premier League Mel Morris. He's tried to chuck money at it and it's bit him in the arse. And it's only now that, the sanctions are coming out and people are starting to question what's going on. So I suppose it's a to be continued situation, but for me, I'm almost looking at it thinking, why now? And if we do stay up on the basis of that, I'd be a bit annoyed. I'd want us to at least, if we win tomorrow, then we stay up anyway. But not tomorrow, sorry, on Sunday, then we stay up. But I wouldn't want it to be a case of that whoever's in that bottom position, that last spot, start summing and ahhing, going, well, she's done this, he's done that sort of thing. And it's like, we'll let them decide it. Eddie Howe, talk to me about him. I love everything that he's done since coming in there. It's just, you don't see it at many clubs. Even when games are finished, you've got a full team pictures in the changing rooms. The togetherness it's just up there at the moment. And I'd say that your owners at the moment, the way things have gone this season, are probably up there with Leicester's.
Yeah. I don't have, like, as I say, it's a little bit mad for me to be in this position because for at least 10 years now, like, there's always been a negative. Even when we had Rafa, we got relegated. So it was like, there's always been a negative or something overhanging. We knew Rafa probably wasn't going to stay around because he didn't get on with Mike Ashley at the time. So there's always been that, like, even despite the fact that we loved Rafa and we were all super happy with him and he loved us back as fans, like, it still wasn't good. We knew it wasn't going to be like a long-term thing just for various reasons. Honestly, I don't have a negative to say. I know everyone, there's obviously, even in the chat already, there's been comments about our owners, and I get that. I understand that part. I acknowledge that part. It's not any different. I like completely understand it. And I get the elements of the issues surrounding the owners, and I'm not going to shy away from that because I don't believe that's right. I think we have a platform to speak on those things. However, just in terms of what they've done for us as a club, especially specifically Amanda and Merdad, because obviously the two that you see at the game all of the time, they've really taken on the team. They've really taken on the fans and the club, and like really reveled in what they're doing as a community club, because Newcastle United is a community club. You'll know yourself as a working class area football club. It is meant to be about the community and about the fans. And as for Eddie Howe, like, they've done everything right so far, the owners. I have not been upset with any decision that they've made. They gave us the money in January to keep us up. Well, that's what it was for, and it has worked. But it isn't just about the money, which I know a lot of people want to peddle. And, when people say, oh, you only stayed up because of the money. Yes, we did stay up with the money, but it was also because of the coaching that Eddie Howe's done. Because what he's done coaching-wise, specifically with players like Joe Linton, who is the standout player for us, he was literally a meme at one point. He was a parody. Everyone was like, how is this guy a footballer? Like, literally, I don't understand. He's moved in positions which you don't get a lot of players mid-career. Joe Linton's only 24 years old. You don't get players mid-career changing positions so significantly, because we bought him as a number 9. We literally bought him as a striker, and he's now a centre mid. He's now at 8. And it's just unbelievable. Like, the change in him has been exceptional. He's just won player of the season for us. So for me, like, just the small things like that have just elevated us even more. And yeah, I really think Eddie's only got a contract till the end of next season. But I do think, obviously, depending on what happens next season, he deserves even at the minimum. He deserves longer. He is just he's really engaging with the fans. He's really honest. He's really open, and tactically, he's just really, really good. And the second half of the season has just been insane for me. So yeah, he's honestly, I love him. Like, he's probably my most loved manager. I loved Rafa, but just for how Eddie has taken on the challenge in a time where it was like a difficult time to take it on. Eddie's up there for me for one of my favourite managers that I've ever seen us manage, that I've ever seen us have, at Newcastle. So yeah, him, Bobby and Rafa have been my favourites.
See, I don't agree with that, Giles, but for the Arab money, Eddie wouldn't be at Newcastle. I think Eddie Howe had been out the game for a while anyway, so if a club like Newcastle had come sniffing, whether they were Arab money or anything, Eddie Howe would have took it, in my opinion.
They were looking at replacing Steve Bruce with Eddie Howe anyway, under Mike Ashley. So that's not strictly true, because I think if you were going to, realistically, if you think about it, if you were going to get like a big time manager, if you had money, not even being rude, because Eddie's done a brilliant job, it wouldn't be Eddie Howe. Conte was out of a job at that point. It would have been someone like Conte. So like they went with the smart choice, and it's worked out.
Sometimes it does. Something it pays off every now and again. I agree with what you said. Going back to Joe Linton, what an inspiration he's been since his position change. And not just that, but he's got a nice little Brazilian brother at the side of him who's been... I love Bruno Guimaraes. I think the guy is nothing short of shit hot. I just think he is outstanding. And to come in and settle as quickly as he has as well, I think it's phenomenal. I mean, for you seeing him play football week in, week out, it must be amazing to watch.
Honestly, it's genuinely just insane. Like, I've not seen a player of his caliber at Newcastle for a long time. Like, the last time I could even think of was Johan Cabaye, and I genuinely believe that Bruno's ceiling is like far higher than Cabaye's. And I love Cabaye, so that's like big for me. I've not seen a player his quality is just, honestly, it's second to none. Quality is just brilliant.
No, I agree. It's a tough one. It's a tough one because I liked Cabaye. I thought he was pretty decent. Obviously, when he went to Palace, I thought, how are Newcastle going to replace such a player like that? But I think you tried to get something similar with Miggy, didn't you? But Miggy's not sort of worked out. Almiron's been a bit... He's still not really hit the ground running.
He has he'll have like two really decent performances, and then he kind of just, after that, all we've ever said about him is that he works really hard, and he does. Like, he runs around. He's the player that'll run around countless times on the pitch. He'll always run the longest distance. But yeah, just in terms of like what he offers a team, it hasn't been enough over a 2-year period. I must admit with you, 100%. Definitely agree.
Talking of Chris Wood, yeah, thank you for 25 million.
I hope you spent it wisely.
Well, we only got 12.5 of it so far, so we're still due 12.5, I think, in the summer.
Right.
And either way, I mean, 12.5, I'd have snapped your hand, because he's. I always said when he joined you guys that it's not going to fit. It's not going to sit well in the system that Newcastle play and the way that Eddie Howe will set up a team. You look at ASM and you look at Ryan Fraser and Matt Ritchie and players like that, and they like to cut in. They're not players that will just, whip a ball in early and hope that someone will get on the end of it. In fact, the last time I saw something like that was probably when you had Andy Carroll or maybe Papi Cisse. Look like back those days, but now it's changed. They like to cut in, they like to have a shot themselves and things. So he's not going to get that service apart from being this stiff idiot that should really just hold the ball up and try and knock it on for somebody running in behind. But even then, he's not really been doing that.
It's a funny one, because from a business standpoint, or from a football rivalry standpoint, I guess it made sense at the time. You weaken your relegation rivals. At the time, we have the money to pay the buyout clause, and we were desperate for a striker because Callum Wilson was injured. So it was an easy deal to do in that sense. Because unfortunately, teams like us at the time when we were under previous owners. Okay, we'll have to wait. Yeah, interrupting me Chris Wood speech. So like unfortunately teams like us pre-takeover, teams like just Burnley, like Watford, Norwich, just teams like that, Southampton, they're not going to return down 25 million because it's it's a significant amount of money to teams who aren't the big six. So it just seemed like a right thing to do at the time. And to be fair to him, in previous seasons, he's hit double figures pretty much every single season. And his goal scoring record is like up there with like some of the better strikers in the league. So at the time I was like, you know what, this could only be a good thing. It wouldn't be my choice, but at the time I think this can only be a good thing. Didn't start off great. Took him, I can't remember how many games, about 6 games to get his first goal. Which for us at the time was like, oh, we can't do this. We literally can't have someone who's taken that long to score goals.
Hey, can I put this on her hand?
This is just going to carry on.
It's all right. It's not a problem.
I do apologise. She's just moving now.
It's all right. I've got an Elsa as well. Don't worry about it.
Elsa, everything. So unfortunately at the time, we didn't need that. We needed someone to kick on straight away, and everyone was getting on his back. And when you looked at it, he was actually influencing the game. Otherwise, he was that presence up front that we've not had for a long time. He was that like big physical striker that a lot of defenders fear, but he just wasn't scoring the goals. And unfortunately, the last few games he hasn't even appeared. He wasn't even on the bench last game. And I sadly think that his time is probably up in the summer. I think we'll probably end up moving him on, depending on what happens. Because if we sign a decent striker, which I think we'll obviously go in for, because Callum Wilson doesn't stay fit for a season. If we sign a marquee striker, if we sign a decent striker, and Dwight Gale leaves, we might obviously hold on to Chris Wood for a little while longer till January. But yeah, sadly, I do feel for him because I think he had it good at Burnley. Everything around it suited him, suited the style of play. And unfortunately, it hasn't worked out for Newcastle. So now it's a case of he hasn't had a good spell. Where does he go from here? So I do feel a little bit sorry for him. But yeah, it just hasn't worked out. And sometimes every other transfer went well. So there's always got to be that one. That doesn't quite work. That's like, it's you can't have everything. You can't have 100% like success rate. You just can't. So yeah, it's unfortunate Chris Wood's been the bad part of that.
No, I can't blame you. This is a guy who left Burnley because he said you don't do your best work in your comfort zone. And as I've said numerous times, if your comfort zone is wrapped up using the offside flag as a blanket, then that's fine by me. Niall says, Dan, if Burnley do go down, can you see yourselves bouncing straight back up straight away, or do you think it'll take Burnley years? I think it'll take years. I think it'll be the latter, because I think that players are older. We've got 10 players out of contract. We've got I think because our squad at the age that they are will struggle with the demand of Saturday, Tuesday. So it will take a good few years to rebuild the squad. You can't expect a major overhaul. We do not have the spending power of this one here. This one's got it good at Newcastle at the moment. Everyone is chatting. Let's have a look. JP says, my daughter does exactly the same. Yeah, to be honest, I had to tell my daughter before we went live. I said, go upstairs. She said, oh, I'm going to put my dolls back in my doll's house. And I went, what are you doing? She went, I've left it, and I've left it with its legs like this. And I was like, right, brilliant. Cheers. Thanks for telling me that information.
She's normally pretty good, but sometimes she has to like be the main character. Like she has to come in and be like, hi, halfway through a stream. So yeah.
What's with the American accents they do as well? What's with the American accents they do?
Don't water. Can I have some candy? I'm like, no. No, you can't.
Oh, it's so funny. But as John said, that's what makes a show interesting. It is. That's what you want. You want those people. You see it sometimes you're watching the news and there'll just be some bloke randomly walk past that nobody's expecting to be there. But let's have a look. Kate and Niall talking about something. And Niall says, if you had Dash, still there, you'd be safe and stay up. See, I don't think so. I think Alan Pace grew a big set of bollocks, to be honest, and took a very ballsy move. But it must have hurt him to do that, because what were your thoughts on that from the outside, actually? Because we've gone from giving him a 4-year deal when we were rock bottom of the division to losing against Norwich on that Saturday, but he doesn't get the sack until the following Friday, and we're only still 4 points away from safety, which you'd have thought is a bit of a strange one. Surely there must have been a bit of player power in that.
Yeah, honestly, I think me and 90% of the footballing world were absolutely baffled at that decision at the time. I was like, I don't get it. I just really don't, because it all happened a little bit weirdly. Like, it was just like, it wasn't even spoken about. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, club statement. I was like, I genuinely just did not expect that at that time in the season. However, it has worked out because you got like picked up a little bit of form from that. I do think it probably was, I do think you're right, it probably was a little bit of player power there, because I can't otherwise see why a board who has seemingly backed Dyche for a long, long time in terms of loyalty, why they would just all of a sudden say, oh no. It must have been something. There must have been discussions. So yeah, I do still think Dyche is a very good manager, a very good limited resource manager, if you will. And I do still think he'll get a decent job. But yeah, I personally think now, in hindsight, it was the right decision.
Yeah. None of us would have expected this.
No.
And would have snapped anybody's hand off to be in this position still with a chance on the final day. So, let's not sort of bat the hand that feeds you sort of thing, and we'll see what happens. My little girl who's upstairs sat on the bed with the missus says, Esme said that you're being weird about her now. Apparently we're weird people regarding the Candy and American accent.
You know what? That's because that's what you do. You all do it. Under a certain age, you all speak with an American accent now. Trash, candy.
Yeah. Oh my
water,
God. Like, can
soda.
we go to the superstore? And you're just like, why? Why are you doing that?
It's that YouTube they watch. It's all that YouTube rubbish. The random videos.
Elsie and Anya.
Anya and Elsie. Oh, don't. Honestly, we have that daily in this house. Literally daily. Anya and Elsie. Cookie Swell C's another one. Oh, honestly, I can't. Yeah. I'll just get annoyed if I start talking about Anya and Elsie.
Hey, at least we know what we're on about. That's the thing. You can tell we tell we're parents.
If I said Anya and Elsie as someone who didn't have kids, they'd be like, what?
Yeah,
so I'm glad someone else knows it.
JP says it's because they watch all the shit out on YouTube, which it is. You can't give a kid a Kinder Egg this time and they get all excited because they eat the chocolate. Or sometimes they don't care about the toy inside there, but they'll happily sit there fixated on the TV watching some other bugger open one.
Yeah, exactly. Toy opening videos.
Oh, it's just absolute madness. Right, Sunday's game, last game of the season. Lucky for us, it's at Turf Moor, which is always, I say always, we've been shot at home this season, but with it being such a massive game, having 3/4 of the stadium full of your own fans, being a 12th, 13th and 14th man has got to be key. But how do you see Saturday faring? Because, as you say, from what you've heard, it doesn't look like you're going to take it lightly. Yeah.
We, dependent on other results, we can get a top 10 finish. So I don't think, if we couldn't do anything and if we could only go from like 13 to 12, I think we would have just chilled. I don't think he would have been too bothered about exerting everyone and, putting a full strength team out. Now, though, this is a problem because we are going to do that because he'll want that top 10 finish if he can get it. So he'll want a win. He'll want that top 10. So, yeah, I do think that we will probably put a full strength team out. Just the way we've been playing, like, even away, until we played Chelsea away, we were pretty good. We were okay away, and which is surprising because I've never had that from us. We've never really been that good away. And just the way that we're playing, like, especially against Arsenal, that is the best performance I've seen from us in years. Like Arsenal, who are battling for top 4, did not lay a glove. Like they literally didn't do anything the whole game. It was actually, I just couldn't believe it. So for me, this is now, I don't want Leeds to go down. I genuinely don't. To be honest, I don't even really want Leeds to go down. I wanted Everton to go down.
Yeah.
So now it's like, what's the lesser of the two evils? I don't want Leeds to go down. I would not like to think that like we battered you or anything like that. I would hate that. I don't think we will, because Burnley as a football club have always had that fight in them, especially like even when we played a few seasons ago and we were relegated. We beat Tottenham 5-1 on the last game of the season, just because
that must just be an obvious thing. I think Spurs always get beat on the last day of the season for some reason. We did it in 2009 when we got promoted. They went 2-0 up through Modric and Bale, and we ended up beating them 4-2, but we were still already relegated at that point.
It's just mad, isn't it? But yeah, I think it'll be a really close game. I think you'll put up a fight. Obviously, you don't want to go down because it can financially cripple a club. I'm not saying you will, but it can. If Everton go down, they'll be in deep trouble, serious trouble. So yeah, I think it'll be a close game. I think it'll be a draw. I don't think we'll win at all, especially because we're away. But I don't think a draw would be enough to save you, would it?
We just have to match Leeds' result. So whatever happens at Brentford versus Leeds, we have to match it. Okay. And to be honest, even if it stays, well, no, it's not even that now. I mean, technically, we're already a point in front. If you look at the goal difference, they need like a 20-goal swing anyway. Okay. So that's like an extra goal and an extra point, in itself. Yep. But because we're level on points, we just have to match their result. Okay. So if they win, we win. It's just, it's going to be one of those that you used to see in the 90s, people with the radios to their ears at the stadium, and it's going to be.
I can't remember the last time like a season was this. I mean, it might be last season, but I can't remember it. Like last season was this close, like right down to the absolute wire on the final day. Like everything's to the wire. The title races to the wire. Relegations to the wire, top 4s to the wire this time. Like honestly, it's like such an exciting season. I mean, if you're bloody in a bad position, like, but in terms of like just if you're fighting for something, it is really, really exciting season as a neutral.
It is, and as I've said to everybody, the neutrals. That's it. The neutrals.
I don't blame you. I really don't.
Now's come in with a comment and says thoughts on Paqueta. The Brazilian spotted in a Newcastle top, and it's caused a huge uproar with Leon. That's like, for example, Saka of Arsenal wearing a United top. But yeah, I mean, the fact that what he'd said when it was translated says, "Well, I'm here to stay, brother," or something like that as well, wasn't it? So yeah, it's starting to build a bit of a Brazilian contingent.
I must admit, I only knew of Bruno because his stats are top 5 in Europe at the time, like in terms of midfielders. I hadn't watched him play. I don't watch French football at all, unless it's like PSG in Champions League. Don't watch it. So I actually don't know much about Paqueta either. What I do know is that people who do watch French football think he's brilliant and that him and Bruno have a great partnership. Yeah, I did post and I said, this has got to stop where we are actually physically stalking players in their own homes, because he was in his private home. That Leon fans were not going to be happy with someone wearing a Newcastle shirt when they're at a club. Like, they just weren't going to. I mean, I don't think it's as bad as Saka wearing a Man United top, because it's like if Leon wore a Lille shirt, probably, if someone from Lille, would be that relevant. But I don't think Leon fans are going to care about Newcastle as much. But still, when you have a contracted player at a club and they're off wearing another club's shirt, it's just silly. You just wouldn't do that. So yeah, I don't know if he'll come. I think it's just it's a little folklore tale that's a span out of control a little bit. Eddie Howe was asked about it in an interview. He said, I've watched him. He's a fantastic footballer. I believe in what Bruno tells me. And I do go off recommendations, and I have signed players in unconventional methods in the past. But I just don't think that transfer is going to happen. I think that's more of like a little, like a Chinese whisper that's got out of control, and now everyone thinks it's going to happen. I just don't think it's going to happen. But it would be nice if we could get another Brazilian in the team, have like a couple of Brazilian internationals in the team. God, we've never had that for like years and years and years. I can't remember the last time we had a Brazilian international in the team. So yeah, it'd be nice.
Oh, I bet.
You know what? I feel like I actually feel a bit guilty, like because I'm like buzzing and like, oh, no season.
Don't
and like
be,
you are like, it's like literally Sunday. Like this is like massive for you. It's like absolutely massive. And I've been there.
It takes my mind away from it. Honestly, it takes my mind away from it.
I've been there, so I know how horrible it is. I know how like just much of a nightmare it is, and it's just like you just feel so disillusioned with football, and yeah, you're just like, oh, you know what? If we go down, we go down at this stage. But yeah, it's not a nice position to be in. It's really not.
No, especially after Christmas, we honestly thought that if we do go down, that we are literally in the mud, because the way we were playing, there was no fight, there was no energy going forward. It was just dross, absolute dross to watch. But now we're starting to see, since the January window ended, it was almost like, right, and since Dash has gone in particular as well, all you hear from the players is, we've got the freedom to do this, we've got the freedom to do that. Since Dash has gone, we've had cameras down at the training ground, and it's almost like it's opened a brand new world from a fan experience perspective. So you're getting a bit more closer with the players because you're seeing what they're all about, and they're having a laugh, and they all seem relaxed about it. And it's sort of what you want to see, because you don't want them to sort of just be heads down thinking that's it, we're already gone. It's going to be interesting, and I love how everyone's in trying to wind me up. So this is Anthony, who's Arsenal / Southampton / whatever he can get his hands on. Hope you're well. Newcastle going to kick your ass 5-0. If they do, they do. As long as Brentford win, I don't give a shit. And Chris says, Chris Wood for the Golden Boot 22-23 said no one ever. Yeah. Chris
It
Wood
probably
for
in some alternate universe somewhere, but not this one.
Nippon Nippon's in the chat. Hope you're well, Nippon. He says, question for Kendall, do you see Joe Linton and Bruno in the World Cup squad?
Yes, Bruno, not Joe Linton at the moment. Just because, you've got to have, unfortunately, just because of the reputation he now carries, he's got to have some sort of consistency. If he has another good season, he will only still be 24 at that time. So maybe next year. But at this current time, I wouldn't have necessarily said so. Bruno, though, he already is. So yeah, for Bruno.
No, I can understand that. Right, let's get into the predictions then. So we are live again at 9 p.m. where we will be doing the Premier League predictions. So I will keep mine hush in this one until 9 p.m. But Kendall, Eddie Howe's been taken down with food poisoning. He's clearly been eating at White Hart Lane over the weekend. He's asked you to step up, take control, pick the team for the game on Sunday. Who's in your starting 11?
It'll probably just be unchanged start 11 for me. Because as you say, we haven't really got anything to play for necessarily, but we want that top 10 finish and we've been playing pretty well. Yeah. So I would just keep it the same squad as played against Arsenal, because I don't think anyone deserves to get dropped from that game, in my opinion. So it will obviously be Dubravka in goal, Kraft, Shaw, Burn and Target. Then it would be in midfield, Shelby and Willock are both out, so we kind of don't have a choice in midfield. We only really have Bruno, Joe Linton and Sean Longstaff. And then up front, it would probably be Maxi, Callum Wilson, and who would play? I don't know who would play on. Fraser's fit now. Almiron probably, just because work rate, pace would literally just tie years out at the back. So yeah, probably unchanged start 11 for me. And
who are you not looking forward to coming up and facing against really in this fixture? Because I suppose it's a bit of a tough question when you're going to have 11 battlers trying to win a game on Sunday. So
yeah, I think it'll be anyone.
Yeah,
it'll be anyone, because everyone's going to look. Players like Maxwell Cornet, for example, aren't going to want to play in the Championship. It's just he's too good for that. There's a lot of players, so not even the fact that he'll be like, I'm leaving Burnley. It'll just be like, I don't want Burnley to go down. I want Burnley to stay in the Premier League, so I can stay here and I can stay in the Premier League. So I love Cornet anyway. I think he's a fantastic footballer. I think him and when I watch him play, he has like very similar elements to me, to Saint Maximin, like just the way he plays football, the way he his creativity. So he would always be someone that I was worried about. Obviously, I've always said James Tarkowski in the past because I think he is just a brilliant defender. But obviously, he hasn't had the best season. But as you say, I would be scared of every single person. I would be scared of every single player on that team on Sunday because they're going to have that absolute we need to stay up mentality. Just it's going to be battle, it's going to be war. And that is why I know everyone's saying, 5-0 Newcastle. Whether you're being serious or not, it's not going to be a win for us like by that margin. That's why I don't think.
No, it's going to be interesting. It's definitely going to be interesting. Anthony says, when Arsenal play Burnley, we fear the linesman. I just, if anything, you should be more fearing Xhaka because he just
offsides at the moment. Honestly, I'm sick of offsides for us at the minute. We literally had like 4 against Arsenal. We had like 6 the week before. Or honestly, I cannot express.
What, you've had so many offsides and Chris Wood's not even been in the squad?
Literally, look, he's just brought the offsides to us. He's brought the offside gene. I can't get away, man. Like leave us alone.
No, thank you very much for coming on and giving us an insight. In fact, I'm going to ask you 2 more things before we end it. One, Tarkowski's available on a free with some of your players out of contract. I think is it Shah that's going on a free or?
No, so Shah signed a year extension.
Right.
So he'll be staying. We actually don't know who's leaving at this moment yet.
Right.
We haven't been told who's leaving yet. There's been a couple of players who said that, like, or whatever happens going forward. So obviously I think they're leaving, like Isaac Hayden and that. But yeah, at the moment, we actually don't know who's leaving yet. But James Tarkowski was someone I wanted in January. But
so on a free is good because with Newcastle, you've still, even though you've got the money, you've still got to work with FFP at the moment.
Yeah, you've got to get to a point like it's almost funny now because everyone was slating me the other day because I said I didn't want Calvert-Lewin, I didn't want Patrick Bamford, and I didn't want Ivan Toney like at the club next year. And everyone was like, "Oh, you're so spoiled now." I'm like, "No, I'm not saying let's go out and sign Mbappe. I'm just saying I don't want any of them at the club." But honestly, I still rate James Tarkowski. I think when you are around like defenders like Kieran Trippier, who has that leadership quality, Shah, who has been like on unbelievable form, he could only get back to his best. So yeah, I wouldn't say no to Tarkowski going to free. I really wouldn't.
No, don't blame you. And just again, let everybody know what your score prediction for Sunday is.
Yeah, 2-2 is my score prediction. Now that might be like, what the hell? But as I've said, you never know how last games of the season is going to go. It's just one of them things, like, like you always have the magic of the FA Cup. It's like this is like relegation battle, top 4 battle, title battle. Like, you just genuinely don't know what's going to happen. So yeah, 2-2 is my score prediction.
No, as I say, I'll take that as long as Leeds lose, or it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me. JP said, did Tarkowski and Trips play together at Burnley? No, I think they just missed each other. I think when Trips went to Spurs, Tarkowski didn't come in for another season and a half, I don't think, because we still had Michael Keane at that point. So they've not played together before, but I'm sure they'll have known each other from Tarky's brief stints in the England squad. So they'll have had many a conversation probably. Kate says if we draw, then Leeds need to either lose or go away with one for us to win. Yeah,
well,
I agree.
Basically, you just need Leeds to not win.
Yeah. And if they do, we have to. It's just, it's the way the cookie crumbles.
What if you both lose?
Then we stay up on goal difference because our goal difference is better.
Yes, you did say that, right? Okay.
But it's crunch time. It is crunch time on Sunday. I'm very, very nervous. Now says 3-0 to the Toon, which I'm sure you'll take all ends. JP says, I think you'll be okay. We'll win 2-0, but Leeds will lose. Yeah, Leeds are dross. But yeah, it's the last day of the season. Anything can happen. And we will be live on the last day of the season as well. We are doing a final day watch along. And no one gives a shit about Man City, Liverpool. That's media stuff. Let the media deal with that. Sky Sports can have their average, wank fest, as everyone calls it. Let's not beat around the bush with it. So we're going to deal with the relegation battle, and we have got a Leeds fan coming on as well. So we've got Carl, who's a Leeds fan, who's going to be watching the Brentford Leeds game as I watch the Burnley Newcastle game. And fingers crossed, it's going to be good viewing because one of us is going to cry, pretty much. I'm hoping so. If not, then I'll just have to start calling him some nasty things in the private, chatting up that brings a tear to his eye. JP says, would double. Wow. If anything, you won't want him anywhere near the first team in this game. It's like playing with 10 men.
He can stay on the bench. He can stay on the bench on Sunday, unless it's like going terribly wrong. And they're like, oh, might rely on Chris Wood, but I don't even know if he'll do that.
Oh, but Kate says I'm going crackly in a bad picture. Not new
you're
there
back
then.
now. I think you might be all right now. You did a little bit before, but I think you might be all right now.
I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Probably this house haunted or something like that. Something stupid. But no, thank you very, very much for that. As I say, do join us on Sunday at 3:30 when we'll be going live with a Leeds fan. So it'll all be hunky-dory, hopefully, by the end.
It's my first ever trip to Turf Moor on Sunday as well. So,
is it?
Yes, I'm hoping I'm going to be a little...
It's good. Everyone says it's like stepping back 10 years because it's a dive, but...
I have been to Burnley before, but I've never been actually to Turf Moor, so...
Have you not? Right.
No, never.
No, fair enough.
You might be hoping I'm like bad luck for me and good luck for you. Usually
it's strange, isn't it? We're only like 2 hours away. We're only 2 hours away from each other. It's pretty strange. Like
that's why there's another reason why I don't want you to go down. Like you or Leeds. This is why I want Everton to go down, because yous are both like our closest away games.
Shit, our?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, unless Carlisle came up and had a drastic.
Yeah, exactly. Like Huddersfield used to be one as well, but obviously they're not there. So yeah,
not yet. They're in the playoff final, but we'll see.
Yous are close to us, so another reason why I don't want you to go down.
Well, be nice to us, as I say. All your fan base have said put out. Well, majority of your fan base have said put out the youth team, play Anton Deck in midfield. I'll take that. Let Gadusi have a game. Why not?
Exactly. He can do a little cheeky nutmeg, get him there.
Oh, he can go celebrating with the fans again, can't he? And giving them all hugs again as he were doing. Kendall, thank you very, very much. I'll let you get back to watching your Elsa and Arnia and everything else. But yeah, thank you very much for your insight and giving up your time on a Friday night. Just tell people again where they can find your stuff.
No, honestly, thank you for having me. It's always an absolute pleasure. And yeah, just Kendall Rowan on everything: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Anywhere you want to find me, I shall be there.
Happy days. Doug's in the chat, and better late than never. Hey, Danny Kendall, hope you're well, Doug. Doug will be with us at 9 o'clock, which is not far away now. Doug and Chris from Leicester Till I Die will be with me at 9 for the Premier League prediction show, the last one of the season. I say last, obviously we'll probably do one the week after to see who wins it. At the moment, the missus is in the lead, which is strange.
Get in, love that kid.
she's like walking around all the time going, oh yeah, who's top of your prediction show? Who's top of it?
I love it.
She's I won't let the cat out of the bag though, because at the moment it could all change. But Kate says, having made many trips up Newcastle to North Shields, it's a little more than yeah, but North Shields is a bit different. It's a little bit further.
Yeah, North Shields a little bit further.
Girl power. There you go. Yeah, why am I doing that? Come on, did I not grow up in the 90s watching Jerry Halliwell? Jesus Christ.
Exactly. Come on, man. Get with it.
I know. I'm losing it. Grandad, I'm listening to Radio 2 nowadays. Anyway, thank you very much. Please do check out Kendall's stuff. The link is in the description below. If you are new around here, please do subscribe to the channel. Check us out on social media. 2 that are missing. We are on Twitch and TikTok as well. However, TikTok's just a ball to mess around with, so it's very, very rarely we are on there. Thanks again for coming on. And yeah, I'm sure next season, no matter where we are, I'm sure you'll go on to have such great success as the way your club's going. And whether that's under Eddie or under somebody else, good luck for next season, because I'm sure you'll be fighting for Europa, in my opinion anyway.
Oh, imagine that. I don't think so, but I'll be loving it. I'll be happy with 10th next season. No, but thank you, Dan, honestly. And yeah, good luck to you guys as well. Whatever happens going forward, I do hope you stay in the league.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Thanks, everyone, for getting involved in the chat. As I say, we are live in 15 minutes or just over 15 minutes now. We will see you back in 15. Yeah, basically, I'm a piss break away from going live again. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Enjoy your weekend. And if I don't see you through the week, I will see you through the window or in the championship. Take care.